Well, good evening, everybody. How's everybody doing? It's 7 o'clock on Tuesday. I think last week I said happy Thursday. I'm here tonight. I'm alive and I'm focused. Last week I said happy Thursday, but it's Tuesday tonight. So happy to be here. Thank you guys for joining me. Come on in, ladies and gentlemen. I would love to have you. Hope everybody has had a great week. I have. Dealing with a little vertigo this past week, but still here, still moving, still doing, still going, and excited about it. So it comes and goes, and it comes at like the most unusual times. You guys saw yesterday, I said in the middle of Walmart, and I literally was, and it just hit me. So it happens on and off, but I feel good today. Today was a really good day since probably Friday before last. I feel really good. So anyway, I thank you guys for joining me tonight. And I want to say, as I always say, I'm not here to help everybody, but I am here to help somebody. So if that somebody is you, I'm glad you're joining me tonight. And I just want to share with you guys every Tuesday night that I come on, just some insights and some things that I am working on and thinking about for myself. Everything that I share with you, most of it I use, and I'm the teacher or the coach or the mentor or preacher that you say. I have a motto, and I live it. I learn it, I live it, and then I teach it. I learn it, I live it, and then I teach it. And I never bring to any of my teaching forums what I learned to teach. I learn it, I live it to know that it works, and then I teach it. So I'm just sharing with you what I use in my own life. Nothing supernatural, nothing too big. It's very simple. I won't say it's common, but it's very simple and it's very practical, I should say. So what I'm giving you, all this process and all this stuff, no plan B, living your standard. It's just how I try to live my life, not perfect, but to the best of my ability by the grace of God. So thank you guys for joining in with me tonight. And I want to talk about, I see you, Janice. Thank you for joining me. I want to talk tonight about reminiscing. Last week we talked about no plan B. There is no plan B, and how we tend to we get a half of a plan A, and when plan A doesn't work, we abort, we quit. Plan B is the aborting of plan A. I said last week it's the prize for quitting plan A. Plan B is the prize for quitting plan A. There is no plan B, and what I want you guys to do is get in the habit of valuing yourself. Get in the habit of knowing your worth. Get in the habit of being sure of who you are, who God made you to be, and what God has for you. Sometimes we tend to look at ourselves, based on our past experiences, based on where we've been, based on where we've come from, based on the opinions of other people, and we tend to forget that we were made in the image and in the likeness of God. And so no matter what other people think, what other people feel about us, what other people say, no matter where you've come from, no matter what your past is, no matter what you've done, God is the forgiving God. God is the one, the entity, the power, the only source that can forgive us, renew us, restore us, and revive us and give us a new start. And so you have to get in the habit of looking at yourself based on what you used to be, based on where you've been. So what? Everybody knows your history. Nobody cares. See, and the thing with us is we get caught up in the history of a person. God is already in the destiny of the person. Here we are looking back at what they used to be and what they used to do and what kind of life they used to live. And God is never dwelling in our past. God is always waiting for us in front of us in our destiny. So you can rehearse your history or you can reach forward to your destiny. And the choice is yours. So tonight, I want to share with you, I want to ask you this question. Are you reminiscing or are you reflecting? And you've heard me share this a bit over the course of some weeks are in a little bit of teaching. And if you've taken my classes, you've heard me go a little more in depth with it. But I want to ask you tonight, through the course of your life, we're in the middle of, not in the middle, but in the middle of this first month of the new year. It's almost over, actually. And I know at the beginning of the year, we're excited. 2 weeks going into the new year, we're hearing all the goal lists and resolutions and what we plan to do and what we're excited about and making our plans and putting this aside. But where are you now? We're winding January down. January is coming to a close. And I want to know, are you still excited? Do you still have that energy? Or are you starting to drift back into, about September 1st? Are you starting to drift back? Are you starting to let go of the excitement of what is to come, right? Because it's easy to fall back. It's easy to let go. It's easy to quit. We've gone and bought all of our gym workout gear and new water bottle and matching gear and all of this stuff. And I'm almost sick of the gym. I'm ready to quit. I'm ready to give it up. Are you drifting back? Are you sitting thinking about, what you did last year? And I remember that time and I remember when. Are you drifting back into the old habits already? We're only 3 weeks into the new year. You can't go back. You can't go back. You cannot go back. So tonight I want to ask you, are you reflecting or are you reminiscing? So let me tell you what the words actually mean in your life. When you sit and you're reminiscing, reminiscing is an emotional state. Reminiscing is going back over what has happened in my life in the past. I remember that time, man. I remember that time. I remember that time when we used to, and so we start thinking back, we start journeying behind us, and we're reminiscing, and we get caught up emotionally. All the emotions of remembering that time behind us, the emotions start to come up. So reminiscing is that look back, right? Reminiscing is that look back for the desire to want to go back. I start getting caught up in what I used to do and what I used to be and thinking about how days used to be, what used to go on. Reminiscing gets us stuck, and I'm going to break it down a little more. But reflecting is for the purpose of looking back, right? John Maxwell says looking back and growing forward. Reflecting is solely for looking back, remembering, but taking some information from behind me to learn a lesson and then to grow forward. So are you sitting and are you reminiscing or are you reflecting? 3 things I want to tell you, 4 things I want to tell you about reminiscing, Reminiscing, 4 things. First, let me tell you this. There's a story in the Bible of a man named Lot, and Lot was Abraham's nephew. And he was in a city that God was going to destroy. And he told him to pack up his family and leave. Pack up his family. They start to leave. The city is being burned, but he tells them to leave and he tells them to not look back. Sometimes some of us can't grab what's in front of us because God has told us to move forward. God has told us to step away from some things. He's told us to step away from some people. He's told us to leave some things. To leave our old way of thinking. He's told us to step away. And some of us are afraid to step away. We're afraid to step away from what's comfortable to us. We're afraid to step away from what is familiar to us. We're afraid to step away from what makes us feel good. We're afraid to step away from the familiar to step to the unfamiliar. And understand this though, when God is commanding you to step away, it's not unfamiliar, it's by faith. Understand me. When God is telling you to step away from something and to step to him or to step towards your destiny, to step towards where he's commanding you, it's not the unfamiliar. It's never the unfamiliar when God is involved. The only reason that it is unfamiliar to you is because you are not connected spiritually the way that you should be. The only way when God is telling you to move in something and it is unfamiliar and you're afraid to step away is because you're not connected to God. You're not hearing. You understand what I'm saying? Because if you're walking with him and he commands you to move, you're gonna move. The only way that it's unfamiliar after God has commanded you to move is because I'm disconnected from him. And it makes me doubtful. It makes me unsure. It makes me not believe him. It causes me to lack in faith. So God tells Lot to get his family, get his wife, and leave, and don't look back. And as he's walking away, I can imagine him holding his wife's hand, her hand, and she looks back. She looked back for several reasons. The reasons that we look back is for connection. I'm leaving everything I'm connected to. Who will I connect to? What will I connect to? How will I connect when I move from this place to this place? Listen, some of us are in dead-end jobs. Some of us are in jobs that we hate, and we know we are capable of much more. We know we have more potential to give more, to do more, to be more, and we're afraid to step away from it. If I step away from this, I'm so connected and I've been here for so long. What will my connection be to where I'm going? That's not your business if God is telling you to move. She looked back because she thought that was her only connection in life. If God is telling you to move from somewhere, that's not your only connection. Come to understand that he has connections waiting for you in front of you. The things behind you, that's as connected as you're going to be. There won't be new connections behind you. If he's telling you to move forward, go forward, because in the connections in front of you, they're greater, they're bigger, they're wider. Some of us are saying, God bless my life. And God is saying, okay, I want to move you forward. And you keep looking back, you keep reminiscing, you keep going back to what used to be. She looked back because of her connection to what used to be. What are you connected to that used to be in your life? She looked back because her acceptance was behind her. They love me just the way I am. They love me for me. They know me. But sometimes, let me tell you this, when God is trying to advance you, the people that hold you back the most are the people that love you the most. Can I be real with you? The people that don't see your destiny the most are the people that love you the most. Sometimes it's the people closest to you that will doubt what God told you. She was looking back because she was sure of the connection and the acceptance behind her. So she looked back. The third reason she looked back was because she wanted to return to the familiar. I know it like the back of my hand, and it's easy. I'm looking back because I know what that is. I don't know where he's taking me forward. And God is saying, why don't you trust me? Why don't you trust me? Why don't you trust me? Some of us have been saved for years, been living our life for years, and our lives every year look the same. There's no growth. There's no advancement. There's no power. There's no consistency. There is no commitment. You still haven't written the book. You still haven't developed the program. You still haven't started the business. You're still struggling in your life, going back to your old girlfriend, going back to your old boyfriend, and the past has proved to you time and time again it's not good for you. What's behind you has proved to you time and time again, it's nothing back here. Listen, you can't get to destiny by staying where you started. Understand what I'm saying? You can't get to destiny by staying where you started. You can't get, I'm gonna say it again. You can't get to your destiny. You can't get to your promise. You can't get to your dream by staying where you start. And some of us are saying, I grew up here. My whole family is here. We've been here all my life. That's why you need to leave. Because the only thing that can be there, come on here, is what has been there. You can't make the old new. You can't make the old new. You can't make the old new. And God is saying, you got to get up and you got to move. She looked back because she was connected. She looked back because her acceptance was there. She looked back because she wanted to return. And the only thing looking back gets you is stagnant. So how many of you have taken what's behind you and put it in front of you? Listen. This is the past. Where I am is the present, but this is the past. I take the past and I bring it to my present. And because the past only knows how to be the past, It stifles my present day. So I'm in my present day, reminiscing on what's behind me, bringing my past to my present, and my present is stuck. And so no matter how much you believe God to go forward, no matter how much you pray to God to go forward, no matter how much you ask God to bless your life to go forward, if you don't remove the past from your present and put it back where it's supposed to be, you will not go forward. So some of us have taken our old thinking, brought our old way of thinking into our present. And we say crazy stuff that we used to say back in the day. We're talking the same way we talked before we came to God. The same conversation we talked when we didn't have anything. Well, you know, this is just how life is going to be. The Lord's going to make a way somehow. You know what? I've been trying, but it ain't working. And I tried and it didn't work, so I just quit. I'm not going back to school. It's too hard. It's just a struggle. You know what? This is just how life is going to be for me. I guess this is the Lord's will. And it's not. You bring what's behind you from in front of you because it makes you emotionally comfortable. It makes you spiritually comfortable. It makes you mentally comfortable. I don't have to think about my present because my past is here comforting me. I'm sure what I am sure of is my past. I don't have to grow. I don't have to change. I don't have to be challenged. I don't have to try to do better. My whole life today looks like it has looked for the past 15 years. Nothing new. And we become content with that. She looked back for a connection. She looked back for acceptance. And she looked back because she wanted to return. Are you reminiscing or are you reflecting? Be mindful of why you're looking back. Because some of us are looking back to remember because it makes us comfortable. And I share with my mentorship class, sometimes as parents, we keep all of our kids' stuff. Some of us have our children's stuff from kindergarten and first grade, second grade, all the little awards and all the little things that they've made for us over the years. Some of us have held on to all of that stuff. And you know why we hold on to it? Because we're reminiscing. I remember my baby brought me this from third grade. My baby made me this picture frame for Mother's Day. We're holding on to that old stuff because that old stuff reminds me of how my relationship with my children used to be. But the deception of looking back is that wasn't a relationship with your children. That was obligation and need. You were obligated as a parent to take care of those babies, and they needed you because they were babies. That wasn't a relationship. You didn't sit and have coffee like you can now with your grown children. You didn't go shopping with your daughter then like you do now, and she might buy you a pair of shoes. That wasn't a relationship. That was obligation and need. And we get caught up in reminiscing on the emotional part of it because when they were babies, we could talk to them and they didn't talk back. We could give them a kiss at 1 year old and they 1 year old and they would kiss us back and hold us tight around our neck. Now we can't even get our kids to say good morning. And so you're reminiscing of a better day because you don't think there can be a better day in front of you today with your grown children. So you reach back to get those children that you had when they were babies and we connected. But God is saying, stop reminiscing and stop looking back. Because if you trust me for what is in front of you, I'll teach you how to connect with them. I'll teach you how to move forward. I'll teach you how to move forward to your promises. So let's look at reflection. There's another story in the Bible. There were 10 lepers, 10 men who had a disease, and they were put outside the city. Jesus comes into the city. They come to Jesus and say, Jesus, have mercy upon us. Jesus heals all 10 of the lepers. He takes the leper away. He takes it away all over their body. And they have to be put outside the city. He takes it all away, restores them back to the state they were in. And this is crazy. They only wanted to be restored to what they were comfortable with. So all 10 of them, the scripture says, they all walked away, and one of them looked back. And not only did he look back, but he looked back and he went to Jesus. And he went back to Jesus and he said, thank you for healing me. And Jesus said, not only am I going to heal you, but I'm also going to make you whole. It's a different type of look back. Listen to me. Lot's wife looked back to reminisce because she wanted to go back. The man that was healed of leprosy looked back to Jesus because he wanted to grow forward. Who is this man that can take this leprosy from me? If he can take leprosy from me and put me back into my old way of living, he can surely move me further beyond where I've been. So he said, not only are you healed, but your faith has made you whole. When you reminisce, you only get the emotional thing. But when you look back and you reflect, not only do you get the physical healing, you become whole. Whole is what? My entire life falls in order. Everything about my life. So reflection is looking back, but for the purpose of being able to advance forward. And there are a few things that happen with reflection. With reflection, remembrance. I looked back. He looked back to Jesus because he remembered what he had just done for it. He looked back and he remembered, but then something else happened. He had another experience that the other 9 men did not have. He looked back and he had another experience because he went back to say thank you. And his experience with him said, if he can heal my body, can he heal my mind? If he can heal my body, can he heal my soul? If he can heal my body, can he touch my finances? If he can heal my body, can he touch my son? Can he touch my daughter? Can he touch my husband? Can he touch my entire family? He looked back for the experience. And he said, not only am I healing you, I'm going to make you whole. Everything about your life is going to be different. The other men were healed, but they went back to the same life. Listen to me. You can't connect with God and your whole life not change. If your whole life does not change, you are not fully connected. And you are reminiscing. God, remember that time you did this for me? This man said, I'm going to look back and I'm going to say thank you, but he's going to give me a greater experience in my life. And after the experience, revelation came. You've been made whole. Go and live your life. Most of us miss the experience and most of us miss the revelation. The revelation is the lesson. The revelation is the lesson. The revelation is the opportunity to live the standard that God has for you to live. And we miss the revelation. Listen to me. We miss the revelation. You reminisce for emotional reasons. That's why some of us grieve longer than others. That's why some people grieve longer than others, because we reminisce too long when you should actually be reflecting on the blessing of the loved one in your life. Because God says, watch what I do with you reflecting. Watch what I do when you bring your grief to me in reflection. Watch how I advance you forward with it. But when you take your grief and you reminisce, you get stuck in the past and grief overtakes you. I'm not telling you not to miss your loved one. I'm telling you don't get caught emotionally, because grief becomes darkness and it becomes a weight in your life. See, if you reminisce over somebody who is passed and you look back, God says, let me show you the joy that absent from the body is present with the Lord. It's not sad because they died, they made it to heaven. But reminiscing keeps you stuck in grief and being the victim to death. Whereas reflection, come on here, shows you the power of God. The goal is heaven. Are you reminiscing or are you reflecting? Remember, reminiscing, she wanted connection, she wanted acceptance, and then most of all, she wanted to return, only because it was familiar. And when you desire the familiar, you desire to be stagnant in your life. And the only thing that can move you from that stagnation is that you come out of the reminiscing. Going back to the same old stuff. If it wasn't good for you then, it's not good for you now. If it broke your heart then, it's going to break your heart now. If it took your money then, it's going to take your money now. If it made you sick then, it's going to make you sick now. If he made you whole then, he can make you whole now. If he blessed your family then, he will bless your family now. If he kept you and healed you then, he can keep you and heal you now. If he promised you a dream, a destiny, come on here, a future, he's going to keep that promise for that dream, that destiny, that future now. But you got to know what state you are in. Are you reminiscing on the past because you are emotionally connected, and it's going to kill you? It's going to wipe you out. It's going to take everything that you got because it looks good. It sounds good. It feels good, but it is not good for you. Let me tell you how you know where you are. When your flesh gets excited because of something you think behind you, you need to leave it there, especially if it didn't do you any good. But when my spirit man gets excited, when I think about what he's done in my life, what he's done for my family, what he's done for my husband, what he's done for my daughter, that my mother lived to be 92 years old. When I reflect on how God has blessed my family, I rejoice in that, and I can't wait to see what is in front of me. I can't wait to see the possibilities in front of me. And I refuse to be denied for everything that he has in front of me. I got a lot to look back on and grieve, but I got more to look back, to reflect on, come on here, and give God glory for. Because it's easy to be emotional. That's our nature. It's easy to get emotional. It's easy to get caught up. And some people think it's something wrong with you when you don't get emotional. It's your mother's funeral. You're going to preach on the day of your mother's funeral. Honey, absent from the body, present with the Lord. The same story of where he went to a cross and died is the scriptures in that same book. Absent from the body, present with the Lord. The goal is heaven. I'm not upset because my mother made it to heaven. We all want to go to heaven, but guess what? We want to take an elevator. We want to ride the escalator. We want to be beamed up like Star Trek. Don't nobody want to die to get there. And we make it a Christian saints. The saints make it a sad occasion. It's not a sad occasion when you reflect. It's like the sister saying to Jesus, had you been here, my brother would have died. He said, I came late on purpose because I am the resurrection. Either you believe it or you don't. And when you come out of your emotion, when you come out of your feeling, when you come out of what you think, when you come out of your opinions, when you come out of your old experiences, allow God to bring you into something new. Allow God to teach you some new things. Allow God to teach you a better way of thinking, a better way of living your life. Allow God to raise your standard of living. Because we all do the same thing, and we get offended when we meet somebody that's not doing the same thing everybody else is doing. Who you think you are? We have the audacity to judge them. You know the atmosphere changes when they walk in the room. Oh, here they come. They think they. No, you think they are because you know they're not like everybody else. And they don't live their life looking back at the past, hoping and wishing those times could come back. They live their life reflecting on what God has already done, knowing that he's going to do greater because he's already done. Oh, listen to me. You ask a family that's been kept by God. We got expectations to go forward because God did this. And so you got to ask yourself some hard questions sometimes. Am I reminiscing on my life and wishing I had I wish I had my old furniture back. I wish I had my old place. I don't wish I had nothing behind me if God didn't ordain that I keep it. I don't wish to have nothing behind me if God didn't ordain that I keep it. If he said, let it go, I don't desire to go back and get it. That's people, stuff, friends. And I told you, we moved into this house. He said, don't take any old stuff. Because Isaiah 45, I think 89, he says, behold, 43 says, behold, I shall do a new thing. Shall you not know it? Shall it not spring forth? Which means I'm doing a new thing and it's going to catch you off guard because it's going to spring forth. It's going to pop up like Jack out of the box. You know how you wind it and the Jack would pop out the box? He said it's going to spring up. It's going to show up when you least expect it. You're going to go to bed one night and wake up and it's going to be on your phone. He says, are you expecting because you've been reflecting? Or have you lost hope because you're sitting there reminiscing over what used to be, thinking it was better behind you? And every time you look back to say things were better the way they used to be, you telling God he's a lie. You telling God his promises are not true. His promises are not real. You didn't mean what you said, God. Every time you reminisce and wish you had what you used to have, what you're saying to God is, God, your promises are invalid. They're void. That's what you're telling him. And he says, you just lack faith. Either you're going to be like Lot's wife and you're going to turn into a pillar of salt. And the scripture says she turned to a pillar of salt because she was not supposed to look back. And I'm going to go a little bit over. What have you turned into because you keep looking back? What have you turned into? Are you bitter? Let me ask you that. Are you bitter because you keep looking back at what used to be, telling yourself life used to be better when you lived in so-and-so and when you were with so-and-so? What have you turned into because you keep looking back over the way life used to be and you don't have enough faith to look forward to what he promised you? Are you bitter? Are you broken because of your divorce? Are you angry that somebody in your family died you too soon? You don't know that it's God's will. What have you turned into and you don't even know you turned into it? And you know what the crazy thing is? She looked back because she wanted to go back, but she turned to salt. You don't read in scripture where he went to get a shovel to scoop his wife up and bring her with him. He left her where she stopped. And there's some people in your life that have walked away from you because you turned into something and they got tired of it and they walked away from you. Oh, hear me tonight, somebody. You've turned into something because you're bitter about life, because you want to go back to something, telling God that right now is too hard. You've turned into something and people are stepping away from you. I'm stepping away from you. I'm stepping away from you. Going back to what you used to be. Coming to church every week and pretending like you're doing something, but everything in your life says you've gone back. You turned into something. Some of us have turned into hypocrites. Some of us have turned into reprobate mind people, and we don't know that we are. We think because we come and people can see us, they don't know we live in raggedy. Oh, yes, they do. God knows you are. You turned into a hypocrite. You're living hypocrisy, and you don't even know that you are. What have you turned into? Or you can be like the man that was the leper, and he healed his body, and when he went back to him, he said, your faith has made you whole. There's a difference between being healed and being whole. See, being healed is taking the infirmity away. Being whole is covering and sealing your entire life. It's the difference between, he says, not only is your body healed, but you have been made whole. Do you want healed and whole, or do you want to be turned to salt? Come on here. It depends on what you're doing. Are you reminiscing? If you're reminiscing and you keep looking back, you turn into whatever you desire. If you're reflecting and you want to be made whole, come on here. You come forward and you walk in his promises. Choice is yours. She looked back because she wanted connection, she wanted acceptance, and she wanted to return. And the biggest part of that was fear dominated her whole mindset. She was afraid to go forward and trust God. Or you can reflect and look back and you can remember, you can create an experience, you can receive the revelation of the moment. Come on here, and you can get the results that God has ordered for your life. The choice is yours. Are you reminiscing or are you reflecting? The power of looking back. And some people look back for one thing and some people look back for another. But what will tell you how they look back, come on here, is the evidence in front of them. And the choice is yours. Are you reminiscing or are you reflecting? The choice is yours. Thank you guys for watching me tonight. This was a good lesson. I might pick this back up next week because this was good. This was really good. I appreciate you guys watching. Keep that in mind. When your emotions start to come up, come on here. I'm reminiscing. I need to get hold of myself. I need to look back on this situation and find out what I need to do better, how I need to grow forward. But I don't need to look back to come out to be a victim. The This is about growing in God. This is about moving forward. This is about being better. So think about it. We're coming into a new year. Will my new year look like my old year? Am I going into the new year with my same struggles and my same stuff? No, I think not. I think not. I think not. I think not. The devil is a liar. He wants us to be defeated. He wants our families to be broken. He wants our lives to be a mess. He wants us to be undisciplined and be sick. He wants us to be broken, struggling. He wants us hiding secrets from God. He wants us doing all that. He doesn't want you victorious and walking in the will of God and walking in your purpose and walking in your gifts and opening your business and making your children successful. He doesn't want you to do that. All of that is what God has waiting for us, and we keep denying ourselves. Nobody's stopping it but us. Are you reminiscing or are you reflecting? God bless you guys. I love you guys. Thank you for watching. Thank you for hanging in here with me every Tuesday night. I so appreciate it. Please share these videos to the ladies that'll be there on Saturday for A Lady and Her Bags. I look forward to seeing you on Saturday morning. God bless you guys. Thank you for purchasing the book. Please share, 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 share. I love you guys, and I'll see you guys on next Tuesday. Bye-bye.